12 News breaking news now.
Good evening. Tonight, dozens of guests at an Embassy Suites in Central Phoenix are looking for a new place to stay after a gas leak forced evacuations there. 3 guests were transported to the hospital. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis. Phoenix Fire says this was all due to a carbon monoxide leak. 12 News journalist Tiati Jadalang was in Phoenix and spoke with guests and firefighters and has the latest.
A Phoenix Fire PIO tells us those 3 individuals are in stable condition. Officials continue to work to find the source of the leak, but several guests staying at this Embassy Suites tell us they're grateful fire officials acted so quickly.
I'm just grateful that we just got here not long ago and that they caught it when they did.
That's the first thought Lisa Neal had when she was informed of a carbon monoxide gas leak at the Embassy Suites Hotel off of Central and Thomas, the hotel she was supposed to stay at this evening. The initial call came into the Phoenix Fire Department at 4:30 Friday afternoon.
Crews got on scene, they went inside, they started metering the building and realized that we were getting readings on multiple floors. At that time, command deemed it we needed to start evacuating the building.
Mike Johnson, a captain with the Phoenix Fire Department, says fire crews and hazardous and toxic materials crews took gas measurements on several different floors trying to find the source. It's not clear who first called 911.
It could be an alarm at the hotel that goes off. The call can come in through an alarm company. It could be somebody that calls 911 because they're not feeling well and they just don't know why. This was an alarm that came in, so I'm not sure if it came in from an alarm company, the hotel itself, or somebody staying here.
Fire officials tell us about half of the 200 rooms in the hotel were filled with guests. And this evening, they're working with Embassy Suites to find alternative stays for customers, including Lisa Neal and her husband, who are both here for a leadership retreat.
I mean, if you go to sleep and imagine the safety issue, the risk issue with all of these people, young people, there's a lot of youth and kids for a sports event that's happening this weekend. And so I'm just grateful that everybody seems to be lively and alert and well.
Several guests trying to check into the hotel tell 12 News that they were completely unaware that this had happened. As far as when these individuals might be able to head back inside the hotel, there's no say at this moment. In Phoenix, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
Tonight, we're also tracking a weather impact alert for yet another day as early triple-digit temperatures are set to continue throughout the weekend. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is here. And Linz, we're not even close to being done with this heat.
We are not even close. It's going to last all weekend and right through next week. Triple-digit heat each and every day, and we are in the middle of the highest temperatures of this heat wave right now. Yesterday, we hit 105. We hit 105 today. We're headed for 106 tomorrow, and then we'll drop a couple degrees, but we're still in the triple digits. And it's warm out there right now. It's 88 degrees under a clear sky, an east-southeast breeze at 5 miles per hour. Here's the next 10 days in a nutshell. So tomorrow we hit 106, and then we hit 102 on Sunday, and then we're anywhere between 100 and 103 all the way to next Friday, which will mean we will have 11 days in a row of triple-digit temperatures. And prior to this heat wave, we had only hit 100 degrees one time on one day in March, and that was all the way back in 1988. Next weekend, then, we do drop back to the double digits, but highs should be around 80 this time of year. And even next weekend in the mid-90s, we're still about 15 degrees above average. So we are in an extreme heat warning right now. It's possible that this gets extended further into next week since we stay above 100 degrees for much of next week. Another record high tomorrow. We're beating a record by 9 degrees with a forecast of 106. The normal is 80. A lot of folks might be heading out to the pool. Well, by noon, we're at about 95, and then we're triple digits for the rest of the afternoon. So we'll have about a 6-hour time frame with temperatures tomorrow at about 100 or higher. Mark?
All right, Linz, thanks. New tonight, the suspect accused in a Gilbert stabbing made his first court appearance tonight. The judge said that 45-year-old Jose Ramirez was out on probation when Gilbert police officers say he forced his way into a home. When Ramirez left, a woman inside and her husband followed him. That's when officers say Ramirez stabbed the husband. He's being held without bail. It could be the final chapter in a scandal that rocked the Phoenix Police Department. We now know that no current police officers will be disciplined in connection with the phony prosecutions of protesters as gang members 6 years ago. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick spoke with Phoenix Police Chief Matt Giordano today about that decision.
A week of street protests shook Phoenix after the killing in 2020 of George Floyd in Minnesota.
I was a little surprised to find that the incident that we're going to be talking about from 2020 had not been resolved.
Phoenix Police Chief Matt Giordano had been away from the department for 8 years when he took the top job in 2025. He was handed the remaining internal investigation of 6 police officers from the Black Lives Matter protests.
I didn't want to rely on anyone else's recollection of what happened. I wanted to read all the reports. I wanted to watch all the videos.
An independent report years earlier found questionable arrests and tactics by police against protesters. Investigations revealed high-ranking commanders were involved in charging protesters as gang members, charges that were made up.
How surprised were you by what you saw in that video, other images, at the conduct of officers?
Well, to be blunt, I was surprised at the conduct of the protesters as well as everyone involved.
Giordano found that 3 officers had violated department policy, but 2 resigned within a year or 2 after the protest. The 3rd one retired in December.
And you know there's a group of people who still will not trust this investigation.
Please trust in me that I wasn't here in 2020.
New police training focuses on the free speech rights of protesters and better communication among police.
It's just making sure that, one, we're protecting the rights of people that are protesting peacefully and safely, knowing what the guardrails are.
The chief says street cops and commanders understand the expectations.
What I can tell you is that there are things in place now that what happened would not happen today.
You can say that with full confidence.
I can. That situation would not happen again today.
Bram Resnick reporting. The 16 protesters who were wrongfully charged by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office later sued and won a $6 million settlement. We're following some breaking news right now. Phoenix fire crews are racing to rescue a woman who, believe it or not, has her arm stuck in a yogurt machine. These are live pictures from the scene. This is happening near 13th Avenue and Roosevelt in downtown Phoenix. We will stay on this story and bring you the latest as soon as we get it. Today, Democratic Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari visited 2 ICE holding centers. Ansari conducted oversight visits at the Florence and Eloy correctional centers, trying to speak to detainees about the conditions they're living in. It comes after an asylum seeker from Haiti died in ICE custody earlier this month at the Florence complex. She's now calling for an independent investigation into his death, as well as major cuts to ICE funding.
DHS and ICE cannot and should not expand in Arizona, period. Every time I visit these detention facilities, it brings me to tears. It's sickening, it's traumatizing, and it is deeply, deeply anti-American.
Today's visits were Ansari's 6th and 7th trips to detention facilities in Arizona. Sky Harbor Airport feeling the effects of the ongoing partial government shutdown. This is what it looked like this afternoon. The airport was forced to shut down half of its security checkpoints in Terminal 4 because they didn't have enough agents. Anyone catching a flight should arrive at least 2 hours before their scheduled departure. This comes as other major airports across the country deal with long lines and TSA workers calling out of work as they continue to go unpaid. If you're planning on going to the first Friday that's scheduled for April, it will look a lot different this month. Roosevelt will not be shut down for concert goers and people that are there visiting the fair, and there will be no street vendors. Organizers say it's because of major events going on in downtown aside from First Friday, including the NCAA Women's Final Four. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly heard from businesses about the change.
It's getting a little crazy on First Friday now.
Shops along Roosevelt Row have seen what happens around First Friday.
We noticed that right around like 9:30, 10 is when the crowds really start coming through, and that's when a lot of the chaos happens.
Shortly after March's First Friday ended, Phoenix police at 11:30 at night say a fight broke out on Roosevelt and 8th Street. Officers having to use pepper balls when the crowd became disruptive. Then moments later in that same area, police say a teenage boy and an adult woman were hurt in a shooting. This video taken inside a nearby bar shows customers hiding underneath tables right after those gunshots rang out.
I was up and working when I heard the gunshots go off.
Asar Roland and Francis Fluellen with Straw and Wool Hat Shop say it seems these types of incidents are becoming more common.
This started as a family event. I don't always feel safe during the First Friday experience, especially since I live down here.
Then in January, just after 10 p.m., another shooting near Garfield and 7th Street, where a teen was seriously injured. A month earlier in December, after First Friday, police again had to use pepper balls to break up multiple large fights.
It's been very unfortunate, really, the teen and the youth that is partaking in this.
Clarissa West at Stardust and Sage says all of this is starting to hurt local shops on a day that is supposed to be booming for business.
I really would like to see something where we could control the crowd so families or people who don't want to be in the rowdiness could feel more safer coming out here, because it definitely is impeding on business.
Shops hoping steps can be taken to where people don't have to worry about what may happen here.
So really you need to have a chaperone process. You need to make it more family friendly, and then make sure that curfew is enforced. You can't be out as 30 young kids by themselves.
Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. And the Phoenix Police Department tells us they work with event organizers and community partners on a regular basis to ensure public safety during First Fridays. We also reached out to the spokesperson for First Friday about these recent events. We're still waiting to hear back.